Kadco?
Yeah, you know that old picture? I'm sure you've seen this picture before. It's like the jug,
It looks like it's an old rinsed out detergent.
Yeah, like a jerry can of whiskey that says Black Booster Premium Whiskey, and it has an expiration date on it, which I'm not much of a drinker, but I don't think that's how whiskey is supposed to work. And it's like a 3.5 liter jug, and it's like for like $5 because it was made like in some guy's backyard in Sierra Leone. And we found out that it says Kadco on the label. We found out that company still exists. Yeah, that's still a company, Kadco. We were looking at some of their products, 6 p.m. grain blended whiskey. Okay, that's normal sounding. Vodka plus energy is a little more concerning.
That's a responsible drink.
Yeah, vodka plus energy sounds like a Ranger, man. That's like Four Loko.
I was gonna say that's like it's probably just the original Four Loko, or they've tried to reverse engineer
Four Loko. Yeah, Four Loko wasn't made illegal because people were fucking shit up. Four Loko was made illegal because we ran out of that sludge. Like the thing Kevin always says about like certain food products are like, well, we have this cursed cauldron and we just have to get all the cauldron juice out. That's what Four Loko was.
Yeah, the cauldron of blood is always overflowing, so we need to get rid of it somehow.
That's the same stuff that made the Orcs green. Yeah, well, they got bitter, non-alcoholic cola energizer. Oh man, Long Rider energy vodka.
That's what you want on a nice long trip. Vodka energy drink.
You're gonna get sleepy from the vodka, so you need some energy.
You up a beer downer.
Kevin. Look
my goodness.
One of them is gin, and
first off, it's called Black Commando Gin. It's from their Senator brand.
Senator!
It's 43% alcohol by volume, and it's visibly fuming.
In the picture, it's fuming, and I think it's like an edited smoke cloud or whatever, like smoke.gif, but
man.
At first, I look at it and I think, are you supposed to... Is this a hot beverage? And then there are ice cubes in there, I hope. So that's a fume of some sort.
Okay, so, look. All right.
These are the crystals that you need to put in there.
In fancy-pantsy, bartending and mixology and all that bullshit, it is not, that uncommon to smoke a drink. People do that.
How?
You blow. You have a little smoke blower thing. It just burns some little wood chips, and then you spray the smoke in a container with the drink in there. And then
I've seen that.
You just let it sit.
I had no idea. I'm not very good at mixology.
And
I was thinking more.
That seems a little upmarket for what we're doing here.
But
yeah,
my follow up was going to be, if they've done that here, it was with tire smoke.
Yeah.
That's what we're working with.
Yeah, Kadco, man, not a sponsor, but we're open to it. Contact us. We know it's probably 4 a.m. in Sierra Leone. Contact us.
If there's any Black Booster left, if it hasn't all burned through the containers and the vats that it's been stored in.
It hasn't expired.
Yeah, if it hasn't expired, which I presume means that it came alive and now it's venom.
No, the expiration date was for the bottle, not the whiskey.
Our most space-age borosilicate bottles only last so long with the Black Booster.
Now, we were pouring through some of these products that are being sold, and one of them had a very interesting icon.
Yeah, two of them have had really interesting
ones. I scrolled past it. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm looking at double charged vodka right now.
Oh, God.
Which, don't you know, is represented by two curiously shaped lightning bolts that are a little too close to each other for comfort. And that
I would call it a suspiciously close together pair of lightning bolts.
Yeah, I don't think that you're allowed to use that logo after 1945. I think that one's...
Everyone in the world actually got together and agreed on that.
Yeah. Concerning.
And then there's another one, which is... What's it called? Is it literally Black Bull?
Black Bull! And you can...
It has at least 4 legs in the picture, but...
And some other protrusions as well. One other protrusion in addition to the leg.
To prove that it's a bull and not a cow, I presume. And they just got its dick in silhouette, I think. I think that's what's happening.
God bless America.
Yeah, they rule, man.
They have the balls that Red Bull never would.
Yeah, 100%. Red Bull will never get away with enjoying a bull
No,
penis.
they'd all spit out their drinks and their monocles would fall off. a penis on a bull.
Egads!
Not like our boys in Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
Smash cut to their CEO like lighting a cigarette with a blowtorch or something. Like.
Sitting on a missile.
Oh God, he rules.
He's the coolest.
I know he's got one of those like fancy suits,
Yeah.
where they have like the canary yellow and like a top hat to match.
Oh,
like how they
yeah,
do.
baby.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
God, he's the coolest.
He's the coolest.
He's the coolest guy. And with that, welcome back to Scryer's Room. I am your host, Famfare.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mario.
And I'm joining you once again. I'm Rob. Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah.
And tonight, we have a very special episode that's near and dear to all of our hearts, and hopefully you back at home. We're going to talk about Adult Swim.
Yes.
I mean, you could say that like the MTV of our age bracket. I don't like to say generation. That's like a whole argument. You talk to say generation, but for our age bracket, people as that came up when we did. Mm-hmm. If there can be said to be a broadcast TV match, an MTV for our age bracket,
It's definitely.
it was Adult Swim, and you could well, it was the internet, it was Newgrounds, but no, like Adult Swim, like when I was in the 7th grade, me and another friend, between the two of us, could literally recite Futurama end to end because it was on every night.
I remember the first time that I watched Futurama. It was I was but a youngin', and it had come on late at night because we're waiting for the ball to drop on New Year's Eve, and we're at like a New Year's Eve party, and I'm upstairs with all the other little gremlins, and it was the episode where Zoidberg is going insane because it's his mating season on his planet.
Oh, yeah, we get his frills.
And at the point in the episode where Fry is like, we don't need to fight to the death, Zoidberg, and you know why? Because of one thing, and then Zoidberg cuts off his arm.
Yeah, I love that.
At that point, I was changed forever. Like, inexorably, that moment, I almost died laughing. You bastard! You bastard!
Just hitting him with his own arm.
Severed arm.
So good.
So, kind of what Rob said. It was air quotes our MTV, whatever. I have like a similar sentiment I wanted to talk about, but it was more along the lines of like, sort of like MTV. Adult Swim is just, if you didn't live through it, it's not going to happen again.
Yeah,
like, there's only one Adult Swim.
That was
he got to live through that.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if you're like Gen Z or whatever the hell, like, and you just grew up forever with Adult Swim, but we saw Adult Swim like
new?
Transform over time.
Yeah, and
like,
I am someone now who doesn't watch commercials. I don't have commercials in my life. I don't tolerate ads. But like that was, I don't know, like, it wasn't just you watch, Venture Brothers or whatever. It was a whole block, and it had these weird little bumpers, and it had strange ads for strange things.
I loved the bumpers.
Yeah.
It's as if Adult Swim is talking to you.
Yeah.
It
All
feels,
kids out of the pool.
And it
Adult Swim.
was a whole experience. It was like you sit down and watch this block of television.
and it was great. Okay, so like I didn't think about this till like much later, but I don't know if they planned on it, but it was, if they did, it's pretty insidious. But how did I find out about Adult Swim? It was because I loved Cartoon Network. That's why.
Yeah.
So Cartoon Network was just on one night because I was a child that didn't like to go to sleep at
And
time.
then it was 11 p.m.
And then it was all kids out of the pool. Adult Swim. They start playing that kind of the music, the dun 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 dun, and then like it's like this weird stills of these old people, and it's like, what the hell is happening?
Like a public
Tim and Eric style old people swimming around. Yeah.
And then Space goes coast to coast comes on, and it's like, what is it?
Well, what the hell is this?
I've watched this show on Boomerang.
Yeah.
What is this?
Why is Space Ghost talking with Brack and Zorak? Those are his enemies.
I remember watching Space Ghost Coast to Coast as but a youth, and not understanding it at all as it was intended.
Yeah.
But I couldn't look away.
Yeah, why aren't they shooting each other or punching or... I didn't get it.
They're speaking to each other, and the way that they're speaking to each other, I can tell.
And there's a real guy on the TV? What's going on?
This is another textbook example of my sister being the coolest.
She was.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was doing some stupid little kid thing, and she comes over and says, "Tony, watch this.
Get this in your eyeballs,
Yeah,
kid.
and then it's the episode where they bring on Birdman, and I think Zorak, someone is roasting Birdman or talking smack, and he's like, I don't have to take this. I went to college, and then he like fucks off, and that joke set up the show Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law.
Yeah.
I love Adult Swim, so like the more I've learned about it also, like as I have like actually looked at it, I also just love it because it was made literally by people who were like, listen, we have $11 and we want to make a cartoon. And the company was like, well, will we get sued about it? And they're like, we don't think so because we own all the things.
We own all the rights.
We just don't have any rights to make anything new besides like literally the things that we say. And they're like, and you have the $11 you say? All right, yeah, get to it.
Fund it up.
So there's this guy, Ted Turner. I don't really know a whole lot about him personally. I know that he was on Family Guy in one of the early seasons, and he has a silly voice and does silly things. I don't know. Like Seth MacFarlane has his own show business, whatever's going on. But in the late 80s, his company, Turner Broadcasting, late 80s, early 90s, separately acquired the rights to the MGM shorts and to the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And so he's got the rights to these cartoons. What do I do with this? How do I make money? So in the early 90s, he says, okay, we'll air these on a network. We'll call it the Cartoon Network. It'll be a pickup cable network you can get. And that's how Cartoon Network got started. And after a couple of years of that, a guy who was, I think, picked the shows for the Cartoon Network, or was one of the people involved in picking the shows, Mike Lazo, and I guess maybe some of his friends too, I'm not exactly sure, but he's generally credited with it. Mike Lazo comes up with this idea. We have all these old animations. What if we just kind of kung pao chopped these together into like a new thing, where we're going to take Space Ghost, who is some kind of space Batman? You watched the show, apparently. I didn't watch the show.
He's a superhero.
Basically.
Yeah. He's like a Flash Gordon if Flash Gordon had like a Batman-style identity.
He's kind of closer to like Moon Knight, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in space.
And he's powered by the sun.
No, that's Birdman.
That's Birdman. That's right. Birdman has the sun. What's Space Ghost powered by? He's just powered?
I think
it's technology, isn't it?
I forget.
He has a spaceship.
I think he has like vague ghost powers. I don't...
Yeah, so none of us know that. Okay, there you go.
Space
Perfect.
Ghost
That makes it
also
better.
has the design quality that is just so fucking perfect that his emblem on his chest is a picture of his own face.
Yeah, so good.
I would
ghost.
Rock that. I would rock that. Just a
That's
big
the
me
coolest.
on my
Yeah.
chest.
A big Rob,
It's
yeah.
me!
So Space Ghost, and Space Ghost was like a silly thing that they recorded for no money, for like a $10 for a budget. I have $3,
Yeah.
like for nothing or no money, and it was just them dubbing over old animation, making Space Ghost be a talk show host, and they would have real people, come in on the TV screen and
talk about their real projects.
And yeah, and he had his co-host was Brack, presumably also from the Space Show host. The Space Ghost show, rather.
Yes.
And Zoltar played the drums and was the music man again.
He was like their production chief, yeah.
And
he was in the room in the back.
And they just it was like an interview show. And after a few years of that, based on the strength of that, they ordered some pilots. And they ordered, okay, let's keep doing the same thing. Let's make Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law, where we have this old, action superhero short. Let's make him stand in an office with a guy with an eye patch and a hippo. And
the guy with the eye patch is Falcon 7. That's Birdman's boss.
See, there you go. I don't know.
That's why
about
his name is Phil Ken 7.
Yeah, Seven was a lawyer firm.
Yeah. Falcon 7.
Yeah.
Phil Ken 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you learn something new every day.
Pun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why that's funny. There you go. And C-Lab 2021, which is I've never seen C-Lab 2020, and I don't know anyone who has, but it was like an old cartoon about people who do science?
Yeah, it was like a Johnny Quest underwater.
Yeah, okay, there you go. And they turned it into a very silly cartoon with, I think, just experimental borderline TV.
And speaking about how they just reclipped the things they already had, I don't think it's not Stormy. Who's the guy who's always sitting down? He never stands up.
Yeah,
because his character didn't stand up. Probably.
So he never they make jokes about him being wheeled around and stuff because he can't have him walking animation.
Yeah, they don't have it. It doesn't exist.
When they do their own animation, you can tell because it looks
Yeah, it does.
But that's C-Lab is like part of the legacy of Adult Swim because we got the same guys that made that. I know their leader is Adam Reed. He went on to make Frisky Dingo and then Archer, which ran for like 15 seasons.
It just ended like a year or two ago.
And if you watch, like you can kind of see C-Lab is obviously like clip art bullshit, but like if you watch Frisky Dingo and season 1 of Archers, they do a lot of the same stuff, like that thing. Camera shot where it's like below their chin. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You can see a lot of the same like animation shots and styles and stuff. You can tell that the same guys made that.
So there's also like running gags that run through all 3 of those shows, like somebody bringing like a briefcase that just has a cupcake on a plate in it. That happens in all 3 shows. I think multiple times at least in Archer. Like there's just things like that. Master Cylinder, where you need to put your dick in a tall boy to hide, for clothing. It's an emergency. Master Cylinder. I don't know if that's a greater joke, but I know it shows up in all 3 of those things, and I laughed every time.
That's awesome.
Was Aqua Teen their first original?
So yeah, I think Aqua Teen was part of that run of pilots they ordered.
Okay. Yeah,
and that's also from
Space Ghost.
Recycled bit.
And they changed the characters around a little bit, and they made Aqua Teen. And then I'm not sure of the exact timeline, but within like a year or 2 of that, I want to say 2001, they actually we're going to carve out this part of Cartoon Network's programming block. It's officially Adult Swim, and we got the shows I mentioned, and we also got home movies from Brendan Small.
Yes. Brendan Small, another heavy hitter in the making good things department.
And this also coincided a little bit with Toonami. In fact, before we had Tom as the host, remember, it was Zoltar. Yeah, and I think that had to do with the Harvey Birdman success.
And that was like they put all their action stuff into one block.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And then right after Toonami kicked on Adult Swim.
And then I'll talk about Perfect Hair Forever in a little bit.
I'm
excited.
I was going to say that was the other big thing I think Adult Swim really did. For me personally, and probably a lot of other people, was just like a soft introduction to, air quotes, serious anime. Just like the more violent ones that they weren't allowed to show.
Because the other half of Adult
Swim,
Swim,
like Dragon Ball Z, where they blow people up and shit, like on Toonami.
But that was like adult animation, man. That was like in the 90s. That was the thing. Like, this is a thing. We can do something with this. You look at your Simpsons, and then your Family Guy, and like all the cartoons on Adult Swim. And there's too many shows to mention. Have you guys seen that sick collector's plate that has like all the shows like in a spiral?
No.
You've seen that?
I've seen it. I know what you're talking about. I want it so bad.
I'll post that in the Discord after we're done recording here because I would at least maim to have those collector's plates. They are so cool.
That's awesome.
There's so many shows, and I'm sure we're not going to mention all of the shows. We might not mention your favorite show, and if we don't, I'm sorry. I was asked to mention Assy McGee, which is a detective show. Also Adam Reed? I should have guessed that.
Maybe.
It looks kind of...
My brain told me that immediately, but now I'm second-guessing it. It could be Adam Reed that was involved in that.
I didn't think that was true, but the animation does have that...
It might just be that I'm conflating the animation right now.
Yeah, maybe some kind of animator crossover. I don't know. Assy McGee is a show about a hard-boiled butt cheeks detective.
You want to look it up real quick?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the show. He's butt cheeks and legs, and he has a gun, and he uses his gun a little bit too much.
And they call him Assy, because that's his first name.
It's so fucking stupid, man.
And he his mouth is an ass, so he has like a... That's how he...
It's not quite a lisp. He's like...
If your mouth was farts, that's what it would sound like.
Yeah, accurate.
It isn't Reed, but John Benjamin was...
He's in all of these things. Unless we say otherwise, just assume John Benjamin is in this show somewhere. He'll show up.
That's
another person we got out of Adult Swim. Him, John Benjamin. John H. Benjamin?
John H. Benjamin.
Him. He's on Aqua Teen Hunger Force. He's the Moth. He's Moth Monster Man. That's
Moth Monster Man. No.
And God, I think I can ramble about Aqua Teen Hunger Force for an hour straight, man.
The Aqua Teen Hunger
There
Force
are
episode.
so
Shouldn't
many
have canceled
quotes.
it. Should never have canceled it. Should let it run forever. I don't care if it gets terrible. Just keep it going forever. That's
There
like
are
a
so many quotes from Aqua Teen Hunger Force that I do and don't even realize I was doing them.
Yeah.
People like our
don't
parents
matter.
know who Carl is. Like our friends' parents are like, yeah, I knew guys like that growing up in New Jersey. Like there's like my dad is a 65-year-old man. He loves Aqua Teen Hunger Force. He thinks it's hilarious. Like,
He's right.
Yeah,
You should also give all of those voice actors millions of dollars. If anyone earns it, it's those people.
Yeah, like one of the bits I do all the time, and I didn't even know it was from Aqua Teen Hunger Force when I was doing it, is, we live here
Yeah,
now.
we live here now. The robots.
Yeah.
And the robots are Fred Armisen and Rachel Dratch. They're like SNL people.
That's
we
awesome.
We were making reference to this episode just earlier. One of my absolute favorite dumb phrases for something that especially you're not supposed to do is, no, he loves it.
yeah, he loves it. Yeah.
Or it's like vitamins to us.
It's like, damn him.
Damn him! Yeah.
And that's like season 5 of this cartoon. That's the season that doesn't have them in it because they're being cocooned by military spiders under the Mojave Desert for complaining to their landlord about a gas leak.
Yeah.
Their landlord, of course, being a 4,040-year-old vampire named Marcula.
Lordy, lordy, look who's turning 40.
And like for any other show, this is the main characters are gone now. We're just doing like stupid vignettes. It's season 5. This is a jump the shark moment. No. One of my favorite episodes.
Absolute classic season.
Yeah, incredible.
Okay, so the weird experimental originals,
Yes.
anime, and then the third one that Adult Swim really knocked it out of the park with was picking up other adult animated shows and doing reruns of them.
Yes.
Which is why one of the reasons Family Guy and Futurama were
Why they were allowed to come
as
back
popular
early,
as they were.
Yeah, no, the Family Guy and Futurama, they picked up Mission Hill from, I think, UPN. That's the only reason I know what that is, because it was on
I thought it was Adult Swim, yeah.
No, it was like they aired, like, not even a full season and then dumped it, and then Adult Swim picked it up. But yeah, Family Guy, I aired, I think, 3 seasons with Fox, and then they just got canned. And it got picked back up by Adult Swim and repopularized, and then Fox picked it back up and started it up again. And that's like think about Seth MacFarlane is like one of the most prolific guys in Hollywood.
Yeah,
like
100%.
He Family Guy is in season like 25. American Dad is in almost season 20 now, if not past season 20. They're making a Stewie spinoff. The Talking Bear. They have apparently everybody loves Ted. Everybody loves Ted, the show that I didn't even know existed.
Those 2 unwatchable movies, they made apparently a pretty good show based off of him growing up in the 90s.
All right, quick aside. So we're going to talk about something that isn't Adult Swim related real quick. And serve as something it is. The fact that they canceled King of the Hill to make the Cleveland show is one of the greatest tragedies of this world.
I mean, there's
100%.
I had completely forgotten the Cleveland show. They already did a spinoff.
You blocked it out. You blocked it out.
They already did a spinoff.
Yeah.
There's a good reason why every show that comes out of Fox, like all the good ones, have the same bit, which is like, Fox is run by fucking morons.
Yeah.
The Orville, his Star Trek thing. They're doing another. The reason I said that they spun it off once already. They're doing a Stewie spinoff of Family Guy. Did y'all know that? They announced it like in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I talked about Kevin about this earlier. A Stewie spinoff could be good. What would be a better idea is if it was Stewie and Roger.
The alien from American Dad.
Oh, both the phase together.
I genuinely, we've talked about this a bit before, Roger is one of the most perfect characters to have in a cartoon.
Yeah.
What if Andy Dick had magic powers?
Yeah. What if you were more haunted or cursed by Andy Dick than the average?
What if Andy Dick was the Great Gazoo?
Yeah, and he lived in your attic and you actually love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Roger. What a great character.
He's the best. And the spin-off thing that you told me about the Stewie thing, God, it made me sad.
It could have been something. I mean, this isn't out yet. It could be incredible. I don't know, but I think
I'm willing to eat my words if it's incredible. But I am going to say that the odds of a Family Guy spinoff, when one Family Guy spinoff already sort of crashed and burned, and Family Guy is like bad for 10 years now, at least. My hopes aren't high, but I'm willing to eat all those words.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We need more good cartoons.
But I'm glad that you brought up the revivals because, Futurama. Futurama is famously was canceled after, I think, 5 seasons at Fox.
If not for Adult Swim, I probably never would have saw Futurama. Maybe on Comedy Central because he's played sometimes on there. But
they only started after.
They drilled Futurama into my head. I remember every night. There were 2 episodes back to back, and I could say the whole thing. Like I said earlier, me and Dan's older brother Dave could say just the whole thing back and forth to each other, like in tune with the episode. And because of the success of those shows in reruns, Family Guy and Futurama, Family Guy got picked back up by Fox and ran for until long after we're dead. Yeah. And Futurama got picked back up by Comedy Central, and they made those movies, and they made the revive seasons too.
Yeah, and then now it's on Hulu making additional seasons.
The second revive,
and
I haven't seen those yet.
They're hit or miss.
Futurama is, for me, anytime I think of throw a show on for background noise.
Futurama's perfect.
I think Futurama. Justin specifically, that was his go-to. Like when we were hanging out all the time during our college years, if there was nothing on the TV, he would throw up whatever was currently streaming on, pop up Futurama.
Yeah,
perfect background noise. And also I will say, there's a trifecta of shows, right? There's shows for smart people, there's shows for dumb people, and there's shows for tryhards.
Yeah.
And Futurama is in the center of that. It appeals to everyone. It is both for smart or not both, but it is for smart people and dumb people and for tryhards.
Yeah, it's good, man. And much has been said about this, so I'm not going to gush about it forever. But everyone, the smartest writing room in television. Everyone talks about how Futurama had all the PhDs and master's degrees and other such science people working on it.
It's like a collective 60 years at Harvard.
I think it's the guy. I think it's David Cohen is one of the big guys, and he's on the. I've listened to the Simpsons commentary, and he's on one of the Futurama head guys. And he talks like a straight up nerd. You hear him talk, he sounds like he's from Revenge of the Nerds, man. They're the real deal over there.
Yeah, I love it. Love to hear it.
Adult Swim, every single one of their major choices as I was growing up have been shaping parts of me.
Generational run. When I think it was because they canceled Aqua Teen, people were sending in petitions in a fax machine.
Yeah.
Please don't cancel Aqua Teen. And so they just put up a broadcast of them shredding all the faxes they got from people.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so trolly. That's so trolly.
Which I guess is a good time to lead into Perfect Hair Forever.
Okay. So, picture it. It's far in the past. It's not even the 2010s. It's April Fool's Day. Your Adult Swim. The people that are actually keeping you in line are essentially non-existent. You can do basically whatever you want. April Fool's Day this year overlaps with the very, very popular Saturday night anime run. So you spend a huge amount of money and time making a 15-minute long fake anime called Perfect Hair Forever that is going to be premiering on April Fool's Day.
It's you and your friends talking.
And it is the most improv-y, it's almost interdimensional cable from Rick and Morty, but it is nonsense. It is a boy with a comb over whose uncle grandfather is he's just a man doing not even a Chinese accent. He's
just mumbling.
He's just mumbling
in a vague accent.
He's really just doing a Pat Morita voice, and it doesn't make any sense. And all the quote unquote jokes are whatever they could have thought of to say at that moment. Really, there's hot dogs that go do la 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 la, and you think, okay, well that's weird. And then the credits roll. And the credits rolling starts a song called Perfect Hair Forever. By the way, Perfect Hair Forever, that doesn't come up anywhere else. It's not like he's searching for Perfect Hair Forever. He's going on his quest, potentially for perfect hair. Who knows? There's the evil Quaffio with a rainbow afro. It doesn't make any sense. And then for the next 20 to 30 minutes, the end credits are on a loop, singing Perfect Hair Forever.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. There was also a prelude to this. they were like announcing, big new shows coming,
Big new show
is coming, and
to
we're doing
premiere.
and they do like all this advertising and like make it sound like it's going to be this new big epic thing, and then bam.
It was literally them being like, you guys have heard about Samurai Champloo coming, and it's gonna be good, and you all are excited for it.
Is
and
that what it was?
We got this other one too,
Okay.
and you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
And then they don't show Samurai Champloo. They spent the entire block running and rerunning Perfect Hair Forever while I think I'm losing my mind.
Dude, they're the masters at that.
That's right. There's new Inuyasha tonight, brand new Samurai Champloo, all the best stuff, and a new show, Perfect Hair Forever. Watch out for bears. To them you are spaghetti dinner. And that was insane. And then the next year comes around and people are like, well, they're obviously not going to do that again. And then, would you believe it, they did it with a new episode of Perfect Hair Forever, and then same thing again. That's right. Only this. Run it over and over and over again.
Well, absolutely beautiful.
You know, while we were doing some cooling around to prepare for this episode, we became aware that on the night of the 31st, from I think 10 to 5 a.m.
Yes.
is just a big old mystery block, don't you know, on Adult Swim.
How strange that in 2026, March 31st, it's just a mystery. What's going to be on Adult Swim?
Yeah, all night.
I'm so excited. I want another episode of Perfect Hair Forever.
We gotta hang out.
Every year they put out, for like 3 or 4 years, they put out another episode of Perfect Hair Forever, and they're all bullshit, nonsense, incredible.
I hope they do more.
I'm personally on Perfect Hair Forever watch right now.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad. This is a good thing the world is healing.
No, they're the masters of fucking with people, man. Have you, Off the Air?
No.
Off the Air, unedited footage of a bear, Too Many Cooks. That's
yeah.
I guess in totality, those are called Off the Air.
Okay,
and that's a thing that would air.
Yeah, the Broom Shakalaka as well.
Yeah, just at 2 or 3 in the morning. They would
6.
They would air these unscheduled things that were just like, all right, we're fucking with stoners now, boys.
Yeah, 100%.
Like some of them they're just like weird or like go on forever or take a sour turn. My favorite one, unedited footage of a bear, starts out, it is what it says it is. It's just, watching a bear do mostly nothing in the woods. And then it cuts to commercial, and the commercial is for some medicine, and the commercial turns into this horror movie thing where like a mom in a van taking her kids somewhere sees like her own doppelganger on the road, and like the doppelganger beats her home and is in her house, and it's like horrifying. It's just this out of nowhere horror movie thing, and I'm hanging out in my friend's basement like, yo, what the fuck?
The first one that went like mega viral was Too Many Cooks.
Yeah, Too Many
Cooks, too many. Yeah,
and then I fucking loved that one.
Yeah, so good. And they got the creepiest man who ever lived.
Yeah, and it turns into G.I. Joe at one point, which was like, that's when I was just like, this is amazing. Because it's like, too many cooks will spoil the broth when you're fighting the forces of evil.
And you see broth come across the screen as like
an acronym.
Like Cobra.
And then I think my favorite moment is when the titles are wearing people as name tags, and then it's just like, oh,
there's a virus that's spreading, and everybody's just like becoming part of the introduction. Adult Swim made all of these things happen essentially because they were like, what if we just let people make something without like just breathing down their necks of being like, you have to appeal to anybody.
I think
nobody has to appeal to anybody on Adult Swim, and that freedom has let them just nail it.
Make your art one season and get out.
Now, one of the things I will say as a criticism is that they really tried to force things to be episodic.
Yeah.
And they didn't want things to have continuous storylines.
Yes.
Which no one paid attention to. No one gave a shit about that, and thank God they didn't. Because there are 2 shows in particular which that was supposed to be the case. One of them being Venture Bros, which we'll speak about in a moment. But the one I want to talk about right now is Metalocalypse.
Yes.
I love Metalocalypse. I did not watch it all the way through until I was an adult, but I had seen bits and pieces of it.
Was the fax bring back Metalocalypse? Was that the fax they were shredding? Or was it Aqua Teen?
I don't actually know that.
So I will say for sure there was a massive campaign to bring back Metalocalypse.
And I'm pretty sure they were shredding the Bring Back Metalocalypse faxes. That's what it was. I said Aqua Teen before.
Because the end of Metalocalypse like left itself open to exactly like we can finish it now, and then they were like, and no, you can't.
Yeah, but the thing I love about Metalocalypse is that it is meta in that like everyone. I'm sure those of you listening are part of a community that is self-hating. Like, by being part of this community, you're also like, yeah, fuck these people, actually, right?
Yeah.
And that...
But it's okay, you're not like them.
And that
We'll talk about Rick and Morty soon, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair enough. That is a textbook example. But Metalocalypse is Brendan Small being like, aren't metalheads fucking insufferable? Aren't they the worst fucking people? And he leans into it so heavily. Because it's just the most absurd shit. Like, every time they do have like a metal show, like, thousands die. And they're like, and they're into it. Like, they're like, woo, kill me, Metalocalypse, yeah!
One of my favorite, like, openings for an episode of Metalocalypse is two guys at a coffee shop that are arguing about like who's like more hardcore, because like, yeah, when I went to the concert back blah, 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 and then he pulls up his hand, he's got no fingers on that hand, he's like, yeah, Pickles cut off my fingers and then he smoked them, and and the other guy's like, that's cool, my sister said she doesn't like Death Clock, so I made her drink motor oil and she got real sick.
And like, the thing is, the reason why that resonates so well with me is because, like, I don't know if you ever, like, watched some of, like, the metal show horror shows or, like, horror scenarios. There was one in particular that really stuck with me of a guy, like, drinking a beer. In one hand he has a beer, and he's, like, really trying to look cool and, like unbothered, you know, just stoic or whatever. Yeah. And he has a firecracker in his other hand, and he blows off his own fucking hand and doesn't make a single grimace or anything, and just keeps sipping his beer, because that's what metalheads do. And that is who he's making fun of. What the fuck are you doing?
I don't know, Tony. That guy sounds pretty cool.
I was gonna say, pretty metal.
Yeah. Pretty metal! Pretty metal! Pretty metal! Pretty metal! And that is exactly what Metalocalypse is making fun of.
Yeah.
Which is that's one of my favorite bits, is when the like inspector guy has them in their like dungeon basement.
Is it metal for all of your employees to be sick all the time because you don't take care of any of the sewage ducts? Yeah. Is it cool? Is it metal if all of your employees are constantly being maimed and disabled by workplace accidents and dying, and there's rotting corpses all over the hallways? And they're like,
well, I hate to be contrarian, but yeah, that's pretty metal.
Yeah. Extremely metal.
I was gonna say metal Murderface, and he's just like, actually, that's pretty metal. Like,
and the inspector guy's like, oh, I guess I didn't know those things were metal. Yeah,
I guess it's fine then.
Yeah.
So fucking good.
And because they didn't want like there to be a grander plot, they wanted everything to be able to be like rerun in any order.
Yeah.
Metalocalypse kind of suffered for that. They like for one season they got to be half-hour episodes, and that's when they really got into the plot. And I presume immediately afterwards, as punishment, they were set back down to 15-minute episodes for taking advantage of the ability to actually have half an hour.
But it tells a cohesive story, and it's a pretty good story. It's compelling, and I love it. I also love Brendan Small's music. He's a great musician, very talented. At one point in my life, I was listening to his music every single day on my morning run.
Yeah, we got him, and I think Flying Lotus also came from Adult Swim. I'm pretty sure that we got Flying Lotus from like Send Your Beats to Us contest, and they just played his stuff on the television, and he's famous now. That's a guy who makes beats.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
God damn. Exactly, like, here, you have one season, make your art, then get out.
Yeah.
And then, coincidentally, if you start printing money, which, by the way, it's not like they have a shortage of money printers now. I mean, like, Aqua Teen Hunger Force was a money printer just because all of the, like, merch for it was, like, you just put the guy on it, who gives a shit. It's a beanie that has Meatwad's eyes on it, and we made it brown. Yeah. And then, like, thousands sold immediately.
Carl's Lock. Like, football fans know who Carl Brutanel Analuski is.
Yeah.
Because they used to have a show where he would do his football picks. Bring back Carl's Lock, man. Gambling is bigger than ever. Gambling is all anyone ever talks about now. Sports betting. Why is there not Carl's Lock, man?
That's an excellent question.
Which brings us to the latest money printer. The absolute titan of money printer cartoon technology that is Rick and Morty.
How many seasons did they air? Are they on 6 or 7? I know they were cleared through season 10.
I think we're on season 8 coming up, or season 9.
It's 9.
9 is coming up. The trailer just came out for it.
Okay.
That's
another one. My 65-year-old dad loves Rick and Morty. He doesn't know about the internet. My dad doesn't think things are cringe. He doesn't know that word. So he loves Rick and Morty.
and Rick and Morty is one of those shows. I'm a hipster. I'm a bit of a hater, but
I remember
that's why we love you.
Yeah, so I believe Rick and Morty, I'm not going to say it was ruined by normies, but its popularity definitely made it suffer somewhat. But I would have to say Rick and Morty also fits into that Futurama role where it's for smart people and dumb people and tryhards.
No, the second that guy,
the perfect middle of that.
The second that guy hit the floor of the McDonald's, it was mildly over.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, when I saw that video for the first time, I was like, oh, the fandom has just collapsed. It's mass culture has invaded this.
Man,
still gonna watch that season 9 though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously. There are episodes that, like, every season, it's not like this isn't like The Simpsons or Family Guy where I'm going to be smugly like, actually, it's been bad for so many years. Rick and Morty has been pretty good the whole time.
Absolutely.
There's been no major drops in quality. There are a couple episodes that I won't rewatch because they annoy me. But, like, I get annoyed by, like, people who like the wrong thing, and I don't even have to talk to them about that. It doesn't even come up.
It's kind of got the same vibe as South Park to me now, where there are some episodes where, like, this is the joke. Okay, that joke's not funny to me. Swing and a miss for me on that one. But, like, I still laugh a lot at every season. There are still things that crack me up every season.
Absolutely. And, like, I don't like the word normie. Not because I
embrace your culture, embrace your destiny.
Well, actually, don't you know that us fat nerds in this basement, we're actually better than other people? We're not like other people.
I have heard
What's that thing that you guys keep saying? We're influencers now.
God. Oh, fuck. I love that joke so much because it's not like it doesn't work. So what we do is we turn to each other, and any one of us can turn and say this and say we're influencers, and whoever it's aimed at, they crumble every time. It hurts.
Yeah,
so
physical
funny,
damage.
Man. Yeah, it attacks your life points directly.
Yeah. There are some techniques in the Force against which there are no defense.
Oh man.
Which also, we're adult gremlins now.
Yeah.
When we were young gremlins, a lot of the times, or at least for me, a lot of the time anyway, was I consumed a lot of Adult Swim on the weekends.
Yeah.
Because no bedtime, baby.
Yeah.
It would just be like, what's on at 4 in the morning? I don't usually get to know that. And it'd be some weird shit. Like, but it would just be like, this is so cool.
I guess I'll be listening to Space Ghost Coast to Coast with my Bionicles.
Now, we're all inherently late night people, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's considerable effort on the part of me and Tony that keeps it otherwise. And I think Adult Swim is a decent part of that. If you stay up late at night, the TV gets better.
Yeah, 100%. And correct me if I'm wrong, there was at one point some overlap between Toonami and Adult Swim where they did like a late block Toonami thing that blended into Adult Swim, where they just kept playing anime. Because I remember distinctly, there was like when they started doing the Gundams, they started doing runs of like a lot of the late 80s, early 90s Gundam series. Like they did Stardust
Gundam.
Dude, G Gundam was on Toonami, and that was on like the regular daytime television block. But I'm talking about
Saturday night. They would have the late night Toonami, and that's where they also had uncut episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
which is how I found out that like they recorded fully lines of like in the Cell Saga, like the newsman who came to like record Hercule just calls Cell slurs basically the whole time.
I did not know about this. That's based,
incredibly based. And I'm just like. This guy's a lot nicer in the daytime.
But yeah, I distinctly remember some of my favorite moments in my Gundam fandom came from watching either Adult Swim or Toonami at the time. Stardust Memories, 0083. Like they played that. And what else? A War in the Pocket.
The earliest one I can remember is Gundam Wing.
Gundam Wing was the first. Gundam Wing was the gateway drug of Gundam in the West because we didn't really have that here at all. And then Gundam Wing was from the 90s. It was like, I think 93 is when it came out. And the Adult Swim, or Toonami picked it up at kind of how it picked up whatchamacallit, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Because it was very similar, like young like shonen action anime. And so the success of Gundam Wing in Toonami, they decided, okay, well, let's try doing the original Gundam, 0079. And like they eventually did G Gundam, because G Gundam came out like basically right after Gundam Wing, if not right before. I might be getting my dates wrong there. But yeah, Toonami picked up all of those, and then I'm pretty sure it was either the late night Toonami or Adult Swim that ended up doing the more niche stuff, like Stardust Memory and War in the Pocket.
I remember that airing at like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like late. It was like early in the morning, like late night.
I'm imagining in my head what would be the good version of it, where like, is it better if they came out with G Gundam and they were like, oh, we got to really swing back the other way to make Gundam Wing, or is it like if they make Gundam Wing and then they're like, the boys hated that, we gotta make G Gundam now. I as a Gundam fan, I don't want to get this wrong, but in my heart, what my heart tells me is that they made Gundam Wing, and even I make this one of the first episodes of this podcast. I make this joke. Gundam Wing is Gundam for girls, and it very much shows. It's a bunch of pretty boys. Like they had the Super Sentai thing going on. It was very like Bushonen-esque, and I think they decided we need to swing all the way in the other direction.
So, like, when the first one that I ever watched was G Gundam, and that's okay, God, that's what this show is. And then when it's like, here we are with the space politics, and the people are being mutated into a new type of person by living in space. They have different DNA now, and this guy is the Red Comet.
We're not getting robots this episode.
Why isn't... Where's the windmill that fights people? I don't understand. the guy didn't ring the bell. What?
Non-UC Gundam is so not about space politics.
G Gundam is like... Just imagine I swept all of the auto equipment off the table all at once. Like, whoo, shine, fuck all that. None of that matters anymore. We do football. We basically have the World Cup
and fighting.
We have the World Cup every year to decide who's in charge.
So that was kind of my reaction because I tried to watch Gundam Wing when I was like 6 or whatever the hell, and it was like kind of cool. I was like, I like the robot moments, but then I was just like, what's this shit with like this chick
she's like the general, and she's pointing a gun at this guy.
No, like she's like some like the chick he went to like school with or whatever, and she like tries to give him like a letter or something, and he just tears it up, and she's like, oh, and it's like I don't, my child brain doesn't understand this. So I was like,
a person on foot fighting these shitty loser robot suits. Why aren't they having like a sword fight right now? I don't understand. When are the giant robots going to Kamehameha each other?
Mario Hiro Yui was given an invitation to Relina's birthday, which he then ripped up and said, "I'll kill you." It was a very iconic scene in the anime.
And
what was he wearing?
Then she fell in love.
The school uniform.
He was wearing the school uniform?
Yeah.
Hiro Yui generally wears a green wife beater, and he wears bike shorts.
Spats. He wears spats and Timbs. He'd be rocking the Timberlands. Yeah. I was bitching about this many moons ago. Okay, who the fuck was it? Someone got... Sonic got a deal with Timberland to make Sonic Timbs.
That's the least Sonic shoe of all time.
It's the least Sonic shoe of all time. Hiro Yui has been rocking the Timbs since the 90s. Why don't you do a deal with Gundam?
They have a 30-year anniversary coming up. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta... Whoever's... anyone working for Timberland or anyone influencing this, if you're listening to me right now, hook it up. Hook it up right now.
What's the... Under Armour, if you want to come out, if you want to get men into short spats again.
And green tank tops.
Hey, I bet men in 2026 are more down to like show off their ass and dick like now more than ever in public. Now more than ever. That would be a hit. That would be Kiri Pantsuit from Mission Hill.
Speaking of, I was going to say, this year at MagFest, I bought my first pair of hot pants.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I remember that. All right. Another
one example
thing
right there
about Gundam. I think genuinely when they made Gundam Wing, they didn't try to make it for girls. I think
No.
they were trying to make it more for boys.
Absolutely.
So what I think is they tried to make it more for boys by making it more Sentai and by being like, okay, we'll do all of this. And then unfortunately, for those of you who... I think we've done an episode about Gundam already. Unfortunately, Gundam is truly, at its heart of hearts, if you really want to get down to who butters their bread, it's for women who write gay porn.
Yes. Yes.
Elaborate on that.
Yowie.
So, Gundam, in its original form, was supposed to be a political/military thriller. And then he was like, I want to make this into a thing. And then they were like, that's obviously not going to happen. We're not spending money animating that. However, there's this other guy who has this thing that he wants to make called Gun Boy. And then he's like, well, I don't want to make something called Gun Boy. And then those two essentially were locked into a room and forced to create Gundam. And then Gundam happened, and they made like a season or two, and then they were about to get canceled.
They got canceled, I think, a few times, and they ended up being able to do not a full
This is
season.
in like the 70s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And the
79.
the group who saved them, and who has saved Gundam essentially every time that Gundam has been in peril, has been the female fans who, in large part, are made up of people who are like, what if Amuro and Char are banging each other's souls with their minds?
Specifically the ship. The ship that saved Gundam was Garma and Char. There's a scene
I mean,
where Garma and Char are talking, and Char is taking a shower, and he's talking to Garma like as he's taking a shower
reads
through
like
the wall.
porn.
And it's a very like yaoi bait scene. And specifically, like that is like one of the ones you'll highlight of this is what saved Gundam. People lusting over Char and Garma kissing each other is what saved Gundam.
But you guys know about in the early 2000s,
And they like stormed the studios. Like the female fans
multiple
stormed
times.
the studios.
they made a lot of regular TV shows for girls in the early 2000s. There was a big push for that. Like, think about all the shows. Like, think about the stuff that was on when we were growing up. Like, they had the show, the Hannah Montana show.
Yeah.
Like, there was all kinds of different, like, there was a big push to do that, like, in the early 2000s as well. That's a different episode, right?
Another
That
thought,
really is.
Star Trek also saved by female fans who...
Yeah, okay, that one. I know that one. Okay, yeah.
Also who just wanted to make the boys
Picard and
kiss.
Spock. Here's my fan
kiss.
e-zine that's just filled with the gay porn that I wrote. Mm-hmm. I know all about that one.
The amount of those that exist baffles me.
Doesn't
Like,
baffle me at all. It's the beauty of human creation and love.
I remember reading this like
Nothing new under the sun.
I remember reading this Reddit post of like this girl being like a third generation Fujo and like, yeah, my mom used to write yaoi, and then my grandma used to write yaoi, and now I'm writing yaoi.
That's really beating the long odds there.
That's crazy,
That's
right?
a dynasty.
That's what I'm saying, man. This shit goes deep.
for like a
emphasis on nasty. Comedy.
Boo!
that's not a hobby associated with reproduction. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that they beat the odds multiple generations is incredible.
Listen, if the guy who made Baki had a daughter, anything is possible.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Like that's I muse upon this multiple times. Like
I suppose I could talk about Baki if you're really into it.
No. We gotta talk about Venture Brothers.
I was gonna say to bring us back.
We gotta talk about Venture Brothers.
Adult Swim.
The reason we decided to talk about this is because Tony said, "What are we gonna talk about?" Venture Brothers ? And that was it.
Venture Brothers, at the time that it like originally was coming out, I didn't appreciate it because I didn't know that it had like a larger plot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
For those of you who don't know anything about Venture Brothers,
It's still hilarious.
the premise of it is you remember Johnny Quest and all of these old 60s cartoons that were essentially a little boy who's really the main character tagging along with his actual adventurer parent or guardian. And there's more than just Johnny Quest about this, but like Scooby-Doo technically would count as this, where children go on a big adventure. However, a key portion of this is also that the child is not magic in any way. They're a regular kid. Could just be you. Isn't that fun? Can't you relate to that? And the premise of Venture Brothers is, wouldn't that really fuck up a kid?
wouldn't it really suck?
If they were being chased by cannibal tribesmen because you have to get a radioactive idol?
Especially in the first season, it's basically, that lifestyle turned this guy into a fucking bitter loser.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to win.
And the whole there's a great video about this. The whole theme of it is failure, and it's not failure because like, oh, isn't he a piece of shit? It's failure because nothing good can come from being abused. Yeah. There's no version of being abused that made you better. And that is like a through line of Venture Brothers. Every good thing that happens comes from like rejecting like continuing abuse, and every bad thing comes from like, well, it worked out fine for old Dad, and then no, it didn't actually.
It didn't work out at all. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about Rusty, Dr. Venture, the dad in the show, is that there's multiple times in many episodes, or a few episodes, where like his mind gets fucked with.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, like everyone else is just like, oh my god, I think he's gonna be broken forever, and then he just brushes it off.
Yeah, he's like, that was crazy.
Because he was just like,
not again.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, compared to my life, like that was nothing.
Yeah. I go crazy for lunch.
Yeah. Not today, Rusty.
Oh my god.
So yeah, the premise of it is that Dr. Venture is a grown-up Johnny Quest type character. His dad is dead, so he's had to assume like the adult role of like super scientist and adventurer with his bodyguard Brock Sampson, and he has two twin sons, Hank and Dean Venture, the titular Venture brothers. And then as the seasons go on, really what you get to see is the boys not get to grow up at all until they suddenly do, because everything is just a little bit, it's slightly more fucked up actually. Every single thing.
It explains its own continuity change. Like, it's talked about episodic, the first season is just like silly whatever bullshit Johnny Quest pastiche, including actual Johnny Quest, because initially at the time they were making Venture Brothers, they had the rights to Johnny Quest,
so he could just be canon, and
so they said, they asked their bosses, can we put him in our cartoon, and they said yeah, so they put him in the cartoon, and Johnny is we'll call him one of Rusty's peers as a boy adventurer is the show term for it.
But now they've grown up.
He's perhaps not as resilient as Rusty.
That's a word. That's being very polite about it.
Yeah, and he as a result of his life of boyhood adventure, he is now like a poly drug addict that lives in like a probe at the bottom of the sea away from everybody.
He lives in a diving bell at the bottom of the sea doing heroin.
He's just like a extremely paranoid, like strung out dude.
And he shows back up for the rest of the series, but at a certain point they have to stop calling him Johnny Quest, and he becomes Action Johnny. But he's still Johnny Quest.
We all know he looks just like him.
They do a really good job. They keep all the characters' names the same. However, like, instead of him being Johnny Quest, his name is still Johnny Quest in the show. It's just that he isn't that Johnny Quest. He was Action Johnny. Quest was just like a regular last name, spelled with two S's, I imagine.
But Race Bannon is there too.
Race Bannon is also there. He's a torture specialist for the G.I. Joe OSI. Like the
U.S. government.
The U.S. government. He's a torture specialist who worked with, I guess, Johnny Quest's dad. That was his bodyguard back in the day. I love everything about Venture Bros.
Yeah, one of the things about Venture Bros that I will always give it accolades is the puns.
Oh, God.
Almost all of the supervillains are some flavor of pun.
Every single supervillain, every single hero, every big piece of technology, they give it a pun name or a music name.
At a certain point, they come up with a joke that they were all musicians, and they run with that for the rest of the show, where every single person... Actually, Phil Spector was the Shrill Spector.
Yeah, he was a supervillain,
Yeah, the reason that the Big
Bopper,
Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper's plane went down. It didn't go down. They vanished into a life of crime.
Yeah,
the Big Bopper is Dragoon. He's like one of the leaders of the villain organization in modern times.
And I mean, obviously, we have to talk about the best pun name for a supervillain, period, which is Phantom Limb.
Phantom Limb, the one that always sticks with me, Think Tank.
Think Tank.
No, it's good, but Harangatang.
Harangatang!
It is Harangatang!
They were so proud of that one. The characters are even like, that's a good name.
Yeah.
So that's my number one is Harangatang.
So it starts out as episodic, and then at the end of season 1, they're dead. The kids are fucking dead. And
they did an episode about the supervillain that hates their dad, the Monarch. They did an episode about him getting put on trial, and then like you know, how insane that would go because he's a supervillain. And he's going to jail for stupid bullshit. Not supervillain reasons. It was because he got drunk and he went to yell at his girlfriend because he kicked her out and she's staying at her ex's place, and they called the cops because of a noise complaint, and then the cop disappeared. So like, oh, did you kill him? Like, what happened? And that's what he's going to jail for. And then the next episode he like orders the death of the Venture brothers because he thinks they're the ones who sent him to prison. In the end of the first season, the boys die essentially on accident. Could it be over? Is that it?
And then they spent an inordinate amount of their budget on the
montage.
song.
Yeah.
Season 2 starts off with a musical number, a very specific dance mix of a song. I think it's called
Sandstorm.
It's Free to Feel Good, and there's just like a long montage of like Dr. Venture being distraught that his sons are dead, and then like everyone's trying to console him, and then he like throws them off, and he's like, he runs, and then his bodyguard's going after him trying to bring him back home and all this stuff. Well, this song is going on, and they spent, I think, like enough of the budget that every single other episode you can tell, like, why do they only have season 1 budget money? Because all the surplus budget that they were given, because season 1 was pretty successful. You know, typically season 1s, you get a certain amount of money. Season 2, you basically double it. All of that surplus money went into that version of that song to play for this 40 seconds.
And the continuity didn't reset this time. The Monarch is now in prison and has to get out, and the boys are dead. And it come to find out that he's not like running because he's sad his sons have died. That happened like 6 or 7 times in season 1 alone. That wasn't a continuity reset. It was continuous the whole time. He was making clones of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
He's not running
much.
because he's sad. He's just tired of his responsibilities.
And one of my favorite bits about the Venture Brothers continuity, like always keeping up with itself and like really making itself make sense. He's just running from his responsibilities, and all of this, since season 1, people have been on this show like, there is continuity here. And people have been like, honestly, pretty annoying to the creators about it. So the entire first episode, where they're like, the first episode of season 2 after the boys have died, what everyone on the internet were annoying the creators of the show about was, oh, that's why the first season ended with Dr. Venture finding out that he has a brother. Because now that the boys are dead, season 2 is going to be about those Venture brothers. And that was like the theory online, and everyone was bugging the shit out of them. So they made the entire first episode essentially like the boys are dead, their necromancer neighbor wants to bring them back from the grave, but he can't find their soul.
Necromancer!
I love Orpheus.
Oh god! Okay, hold on. We'll get there.
And like the whole episode is him. He feels so guilty because it's indirectly his fault. The boys are dead, and he can't bring them back. And then like now that Doc's back, he's working on shit, and he doesn't want to deal with it. And you find out that he's been cloning the boys essentially because the creators are like, stop theorizing at us. We're working on it. Trust us.
The character, I think, from season 2, Triana's friend who shows up, didn't come back because people pestered them too much about her.
Yeah.
There was a reasonably attractively drawn young female character with
just a young goth woman.
And because of that, people were said at the end of the episode, like she says, "Oh, I'm going to become a villain. This is going to be great." She finds out about the villain stuff going on, and says, "I'm interested in this." And then never shows up again because too many people harassed Doc and Jackson about it.
Yep. They were like, oh, is this what's going to happen? Is she going to do this? And they're like, she's going to do nothing. She'll do nothing and you'll like it.
Yeah.
And you know what? They were right.
You want to know what? Actually, Shinji's gay. He's with neither of them.
Yeah.
You know what? Thinking about it, though, that's another list, another docket in the long list of reasons why I'm into goth girls.
Hey,
didn't think about that until just now.
I think everyone, at least secretly, agrees that it's
cartoons just basically blasted that into me.
It's attractive. It's a solid piece of character design for an animation. So they're obviously going to do it, and then you blast that into children's eyeballs.
Well, look at how the one kind of dresses that way too. He kind of has a certain style. A Doc Hammer. I think.
He was a goth kid.
Yeah, you can tell.
He also there's two characters in the show that are essentially supposed to be the creators doing an impression of each other. That are named Billy Quizboy and Pete White. And Pete White is an albino because Doc Hammer has a genetic condition where his hair actually has two colors in it. Half of his hair is white, and then the other half is black.
I thought that was dye. I didn't know that.
It's not. And in fact, he gets really fucking annoyed because people are like, "You're lying." And he's like, "It goes down the middle of my head. It's like a genuine like thing that he's had his whole life."
I didn't know that.
And so they were like, let's make him an albino in this." And then he goes in disguise as not an albino.
And they're like underachievers who know everything there is to know about pop culture.
Yeah. They're the coolest.
Yeah, they're the coolest.
My heroes.
The episode, the Duran Duran episode,
oh my goodness.
None of us were into Duran Duran, enough to know we're not old enough for that.
So we mentioned before that like a bunch of the names and like all the characters are like musicians and stuff, but so much of like Venture Brothers is just references to music and like really specific things.
Really specific things.
That like there's an entire episode which is about like 3 music videos just stacked on top of each other.
And we're like, what? We don't get it. Why?
And if you don't know about them, it just seems like kind of a weird episode.
It's just kind of off kilter. It's like you have to. I had to watch that with like Wikipedia open and like doing Google searches and pausing it like at a certain point because I'm like, no, what is this about this? And it's about a Duran Duran music video and a red ball and the whole. It's all about that.
And it's also so well written and thought through that, in spite of the fact that as a group they were annoying, and I should say we are annoying, the theory crafters. We're a very annoying people, and unfortunately when you write something too well, it invites it, because if you're writing it well enough, then a clever enough person could conceivably like extrapolate outwards.
Trying to guess what'll happen next is fun.
It's fun. It's very engaging. I was one of the people who was online just being like, I will figure out who the monarch's father is. And I did, because I was one of that group of very annoying people.
When I watch movies with my mom, she's always telling me to shut up, because I'm always trying to I'll say out loud, this is what's going to happen next. And some people don't like that.
Yeah.
I actually don't do theory crafting myself. I like just let it come at me as it does, but I do see the appeal, and I do understand why it happens. One of my favorite bits, speaking of like obscure like song and music like pop culture references, is the episode with the ship that crashes in the ocean, and it's just
yes,
and it's
Ground Control to Major Tom, and they're just doing Space Oddity. Yeah,
they're just doing Space Oddity.
Major Tom, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Do you hear me, Major Tom?
Tell my wife I love her very much. She knows.
She knows, Tom. She knows. It's just the song, just put to dialogue.
And then the sovereign of the Guild of Calamitous Intent is just David Bowie.
Yeah.
And some of their minions are the Diamond Dogs.
And specifically, like the way that the sovereign projects himself is like a distorted projection. I think of one of the main guys who makes it. I don't know their names off the top of my head to summon them all up. I'm a common fool, you see. But like even like the way that he appears is a reference to a different music thing, and everything about it.
This is immaculate. It's immaculate.
I love it. There was when Venture Brothers first went off the air, and we didn't even know if we would have the movie to finish things off. We were lamenting it quite a whole lot.
Yeah.
And then one of the extended friend group, who is sort of infamous for having bad and wrong opinions, was like, "What do you care? There's still other cartoons to watch. Why don't you just watch Rick and Morty?" And what was
Rage?
What was the you said this? You were like, there was a restaurant that you went to, you were like, it was so good, and I might never eat there again. And in a way, that's tragic. And his response would essentially have been like, what do you care? McDonald's sells cow meat.
It was probably either the steak I ate in Vegas when I was too hungover on my 21st birthday to consume basically anything after the second day.
Yeah.
Or maybe something in Italy.
And all I could think of was like, you're right. because Venture Brothers is a thing of high quality. You're probably not going to get anything like it ever again. One of my axes for like what makes a thing good is, can I get it anywhere else?
Yeah. Is there an alternative?
Is there an alternative? Because if there is an alternative, then there's a finite amount of goodness that you can extract from it, because now you're just, oh, I want more of that.
Yeah, now we're talking about optimization.
Yeah. And if you can't get it anywhere else, that's its own kind of goodness. You can't get Venture Brothers anywhere but Venture
You really
Brothers.
fucking can't, man.
You guys talked about the Harley Quinn show, right?
No.
No, I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay. Like that's people say the Harley Quinn show is like Venture Brothers, and it kind of is. There are ways where it is. It's kind of like a little bit meta, like acknowledges the villain and hero tropes, kind of, and like plays off those, and it does that. And I watched the first season. It was a pretty good show.
More like zany.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
Venture Bros is just so stuffed, like end to end, with just like little things.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think if cornered and asked, all of us might answer Venture Brothers is my favorite cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
memorable.
I corner people and tell them.
I have we do that.
My favorite comedy. My favorite
sure.
comedy cartoon, 100%.
I have a thing about eras. Like, I don't like to compare, like, across a certain enough gap. Like, how do you compare, like, a Looney Tunes, like, some of the best, like, how do you compare some of, like, that, like, Foghorn Leghorn and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. That's like football, like pre-Super Bowl era, Like at a certain point, the records don't line up with each other. These things are too different from each other. They're too far apart in time.
Yeah.
When they stopped letting you do steroids in baseball.
And if you've talked to me before, you've heard me give that same era speech. I'm sure you three guys have heard me say that at least 50 times. But if I wasn't allowed to say any of that, Venture Brothers is the short answer. That's my favorite cartoon.
Yeah. It also, it's like Mario said, there's so much in it.
Yeah.
It's dense. It is so stuffed full that I've watched that show probably more than any other show that I've, like, obsessively rewatched, because I always need something on in the background while I do things. And every time I watch it, I can find something new.
Yeah.
even Helper.
Yeah.
He just talks with, it's their little robot guy, and he just speaks in beeps and boops, and that's a fucking thing that they have. At,
They built a robot.
Yeah.
To voice a robot in their show.
and they always credit it.
Yeah.
As Helper. It's like a really weird.
I had no idea. That's
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
It's an actual robot voicing Helper.
And
That just does beeps and boops.
did they need to do that? No, but they made.
But wasn't it cool that they did?
right?
Bury
That was
them.
God.
Also, one of my favorite characters in that show would have to be Dr. Girlfriend.
Dr. Girlfriend.
Dr. Girlfriend is outstanding.
Ready to launch.
And one of my favorite reasons is the evolution of her name, because it goes from being Dr. Girlfriend to Dr. Mrs. My Wife.
Well, first it was Dr. Fiance
Yeah,
for,
Dr.
for
Fiancé,
one
yeah.
episode
Yeah.
while they were getting married. And then Dr. Mrs. the Monarch. Dr. My Wife.
Yeah.
Dr. Mrs. My Wife.
Mrs.
He
My
just
Wife.
keeps
one of
like
my
scrambling.
favorite-
And at a certain point, they were just like, okay, wouldn't it be funny if she was dressed like Jackie O? So she has a little pink pillbox hat and her
Yeah.
little pink, like, get up the whole
Yeah,
time.
little
with
white
matching
gloves,
handbag. And it's like, it just be... Have you seen, like, the promo stuff where Doc Hammer is dressed up like that?
Yeah,
No.
like the
He has the pink...
Commentary?
Yeah.
Little pillbox hat.
yeah, it's beautiful.
man.
It's beautiful.
Oh my-
And like the joke, who the hell is Jacqueline Onassis? She doesn't know who that is.
is Jacqueline Onassis?
And that's just like, we hired we hired a lady to voice this character, but she didn't show up. Okay, I'll just do the voice. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Genuinely, they were like, okay, we only really needed one female voice actor, and we don't have her. Well, can you do a female voice? And they essentially all
No,
looked at
we
each other
can't.
like, obviously no.
Yeah.
Then let's go the other way with it. Just go as hard as you can in the other direction. And so she talks like this.
It's so good.
She has the deepest
So good.
voice that they can do.
Do you smoke cigarettes or do you just eat them?
That's one of my favorite bits of Sergeant Hatred. Is that where the Monarch doesn't know she smokes, and he's just like, her 3-pack-a-day
Yeah.
voice didn't give you.
Since when have you smoked? Since 1998-ish? Wow, I can't believe this. You're smoking. And they're like, well, couldn't you tell? And they go around like... Until eventually, like, I guess I'll say it, or 3-pack-a-day voice. God damn it. You could just make me happy by talking it like conceivably. You could trap me in a matrix that is just like a line of people who come up to me and say a Venture Brothers quote, and then I do a bunch of the episode.
The
and then
Kevin machine.
Yeah, I'll starve to
Machine,
death.
Yeah. That's how you get him.
You'll find me like all desiccated, like I walked through a desert.
Same. If you paid me enough of the right kind of attention, I would just sit there and go, "Oh, everybody loves me," until I died or collapsed.
Yeah, absolutely. I get excited. I'm excited. So that's another thing I've been doing. I've been pivoting some of the way that I describe myself. I'm not being an asshole right now. I'm grumpy.
I'm just cranky because I missed my nap.
I'm a grouch. What can I say?
I'm a curmudgeon. We're old enough now. We're curmudgeon.
We're curmudgeonly. Yeah.
That's a good one.
And one of them is that I will say that I'm excitable. I get excited.
I'm excitable.
Which is just a way of me saying I was never diagnosed with anything, but I do go on long rants and I'm going to trap you. It's going to happen. You can gnaw your own leg off like an animal, but I'm not a bear trap. I'm smarter than that. I'll get you again.
Yeah, if I could track you down, it'll be easier because you have my leg.
Or you can just say, I'm excitable.
I really like incorrigible, which is like the nicest way to say like an asshole.
Yeah. It literally means he can't be taught or changed.
Yeah. He just does bad stuff. Isn't that funny?
Boys will be boys.
Yeah.
Venture Brothers is a piece of media that also really shaped the way that I think of good things.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of the stuff on Adult Swim is undeniably good in the way that it's supposed to be good. Like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, at no point do you think, this is supposed to be really well written. Yeah. It's supposed to be funny. Yeah. And so it is. Venture Brothers was what if we just did all of the things as good as we could do them?
Yeah.
To our own detriment, as good as we can get them. And they knocked it out of the park, and I don't know that we'll get another thing ever like it.
Thank God they rectified their error and allowed it to end.
Yeah.
It has an actual ending.
The movie wasn't enough. It wasn't.
But the thing is, the movie also left it open-ended. They could still keep going. They concluded everything, but they could still keep going. Which is a great way to end it.
Honestly, I have the feeling in my heart that they're never going to get the creators back on board.
Yeah.
But in a perfect world where the creators essentially have complete freedom to make it into like Simpsons or Family Guy, where they're oh, we're going into season 20 now, just until it's long bad. Venture Brothers is absolutely one of the shows where I'm you let them.
Yeah. Sign me up.
You let them ruin it.
Yeah. The scene of when the people of New York are carrying Tobey Maguire, maskless Spider-Man over them, and they're careful, he's a hero.
He's a hero, yeah. Yeah. The shambling zombie of the Venture Brothers is a zombie that I would high five on the way past. Let that zombie shamble until he collapses.
Absolutely.
Adult Swim, again and again, was a major impact on us specifically, but also on the world. So a thing that I just saw in American Dad, another fucking Seth MacFarlane cartoon. Unfortunately, this is the good one, so I'm going to talk about it a lot. They have a character named Klaus who's a goldfish inhabited by the most intolerable German man in the universe. He's not intolerably German. He's just sort of
Charisma 3.
Yeah, he's just a loser kind of guy and a German trapped in a goldfish's body. And one of the episodes, he's going on a date with this super hot girl, and he needs a new goldfish bowl to impress her because it's like clothes, get it? And he can't afford a nice one. He wanted a crystal bowl from Tiffany, and he couldn't afford it because his budget is $11 because he's a fucking fish. And they find out that the stoner guy in the house, he's taken up glass blowing recently, and he's gonna make a bowl for it. And as Klaus is describing it, he's I need 3 dragons, I need Pickle Rick on the sides, and Pickle Rick is on the sides of his fucking bowl in the episode.
That's awesome.
That is how tremendous the impact of Rick and Morty was, and in many ways, the way that Adult Swim inevitably is. They shut down Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
With the bomb scare.
No, Boston.
Boston,
yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, the light bright bombs.
The light bright bombs. During, I think it was before the Aqua Teen movie.
Yeah, as an ad, they contracted some
artsy
street
artists,
people. Yeah.
and they made light bright like devices that would only light up at certain times, so you could see them like underneath bridges and like on like stoplights and things.
And it was Ignignockt and
Yeah, and it would light up, and it was the Moon Men, the
Moonanites.
The Moonanites.
Space Kataz.
And I think it was also for Space Kataz, because Space Kataz was supposed to be like a spin-off that they didn't get to do.
Yeah.
And literally, Boston, like, they shut down immediately. They were like, these are bombs, obviously. Now, I will admit, they did look a lot like bombs.
Oh,
They weren't like a big black bowling ball with a wick.
That would have been awesome.
But they were like circuit boards and mysterious, like, taped up sections that are like, I would say
like a homebrew bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like if you were trying to do some nefariousness, they just had some mysterious purple and green guy on them. Does that mean that they're activated? What's happening?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
And they tried to make an episode about that. And then that episode, they got, like, through recording it and animating part of it, and then the network was like, are you fucking insane? We're not making an episode about how we shut down a city on accident with an ad campaign.
That's fucking wild. I had no idea that happened.
One of the only big, like, censorship things that they've had to do for, like, their shows. Because everything else has been... There's... Lack of oversight isn't the right word. Lack of constraints and restrictions on the things, because it's for a late night block that conceivably only like stoners and kids are watching. So people got like a level of freedom with little budget to make their one season of art and then move on.
Now, speaking of which, a lot of what allowed Toonami to exist to begin with is, Rob just busted out the Rick and Morty bong.
There is, in fact, a Rick and Morty bong in this basement. We're looking at it.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
It's got the...
And that's around the time when my hipster like went overdrive and I started thinking, okay, Rick and Morty has been ruined by the normies, is when I kept going into glass shops and just seeing all of this Rick and Morty art and posters, and it's like, I should be happy that it's popular and reaching the mainstream.
Right.
But my
I
inner
scowl.
hipster... Yeah, my inner hipster
scowl.
makes me scowl.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like this. I'm just like this.
It's the bellwether for the lame.
Yeah.
Now it's lame. No!
Yeah, God
Other people
bless.
can't enjoy the same thing as me.
Only me and my secret friends.
Yeah.
But one of the things that allowed the beautiful thing that is Adult Swim to exist was the FCC regulations getting lightened up in the early 2000s.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the same way like Chappelle's Show and the same way like a lot of these other shows could not have existed until those regulations were lightened up, Adult Swim coincides with that. Now, the reason I say this is because there's a show on Adult Swim called The Boondocks.
Oh, we almost didn't get to the Boondocks.
I don't even know how that ever got greenlit. Not that it's bad. In fact, it's amazing. It's beautiful and impeccable. But as a black person...
It makes me laugh harder every year.
As a black person, it is one of those things where it could only be made by black folk, and for good reason, because they talk about a lot of controversial things in a
like
very
a comic
controversial
strip.
way. It was a comic strip on, I forget what newspaper run, but yeah, it was originally a comic strip that was like,
It was in the Washington Post.
Was it the Washington Post?
It was in the Washington Post.
But the animation, because they were on a late night a block of television, they went off the fucking chain with the Boondocks.
They spent a
it's
lot
beautiful.
of money on animation.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's immaculately animated, which is like wild.
It's the kind of beautiful animation that makes you look at like other like, oh, this is like a grown-up animation thing, and make you be like, oh, they fucked that up tremendously.
They phoned it in, yeah.
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 I don't know if you guys could hear the glee in my voice when we were talking about Shrek last week, but I really love when a creator is just grinding his axe in front of everyone. That's one of my favorite things of all time.
Now that I have all of your attention,
These are the people that I think suck in my life.
And the Boondocks does that immaculately through the lens of black culture. And like, it's fucking wild. They have an episode about BET and how it's the devil.
Yeah.
They have an episode about...
Like, specific people are represented and shown with, like, shaded demon eyes.
Yeah.
And like a guy that Magruder, the Boondocks creator, a guy that he had beef with in his life. Like, okay.
like his friend who betrayed him.
Yeah, a guy that like he used to work with, and then they had some kind of falling out. He's in that episode as like like a lisping loser that like can't do anything right. Yeah, so mean.
And that's you.
Yeah, that's what you. That's what you sound like. Yeah.
Remember back then?
Yeah, and that's like, oh god.
There's a certain level of spite that just becomes beautiful, you know? It becomes almost like a virtue at that point.
And of course, then which makes you think, right? What did he do to make him that mad?
Yeah, what did he do? What could have happened?
One of my favorite bits in the Boondocks is that there's a super rich white guy who is like a recurring villain character.
His name is Onceler.
His name is Onceler.
Like the Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, like the Dr. Seuss, the villain in the Lorax. Who cut down all the forests in the world and had to be spoken to by an avatar of mustaches.
He has a cigar and he's as wide as he is tall.
Yeah. And their family goes back like hundreds of years of being rich a-holes. They do a kickball episode that was...
I'm glad you brought it up, because if you didn't, I was going to.
Yeah.
It's just a fun episode, but they have a joke in it that I'm just repeating the joke.
Yeah, don't blame Kevin. He's just repeating what they said. This is their fault, not his.
They're talking about how he witnessed kickball being played, I think, in like the mountains of Tibet, like by monks.
I believe so.
And he called it Jap baseball. He didn't know where he was, and he didn't care. Like that's the line in the show.
It's so fucked
God damn.
It's so fucked up. So disclaimer. Boondocks is extremely racist, and but it makes light of it, and they do it in a very...
I would say...
The fact that they aired some of those episodes on cable is like, whoa.
So this ties into the FCC regulations. They didn't know what the new rules were yet. Like, this shit could not exist today. This shit could not exist today.
Yeah,
they would have gotten blammed instantly.
Yeah.
But it's just, and it's in that weird, like, lawless area where we decided that, like, okay, maybe we're being a bit too anal about these rules. Let's lighten them up a bit. And then we get Chappelle's Show, we get Boondocks, we get all of this media of just like, fuck it, what if the rules didn't matter?
We needed a nice war full of war crimes to decide what the Geneva Conventions were.
We had to use mustard gas to know that we can't use mustard gas.
And that's how we get episodes that are fully banned from like being even like, I think you can't even buy it unless you like find an old DVD anymore.
It's not on streaming. It's not on streaming.
That sounds about right.
There's an episode called The Ballad of Jimmy Rebel.
And that was one of the first episodes I saw, and my jaw hit the fucking
That aired on
floor.
cable.
Which is wild.
I saw
that on cable.
I said that one bit about the kickball, and I was like, don't be mad at me, I'm not the racist one here. I'm not going to do any bits because from the Johnny Rebel episode.
There is no 15-second period any of us can repeat.
No.
Without getting blamed instantly.
And you know what? Mostly, that's correct. That was that was a hell of a swing of an episode.
And I laugh every time.
Good Lord.
How far can we take this?
They took it as far as you could. They found the line.
Yeah,
they found it.
Then they stepped over it and were looking back at it.
Long jumps past the line.
They fucking, as far as they could, man. They went well past.
One of my favorites was probably just the simple, just, oh wait. I'm white.
Oh, yeah. This is a perfectly good moment to throw your life away.
We say that all the time. Whenever we're trying to get people to play Warcraft with us, that's what me and Tony say. This is a perfectly good moment to throw your life away. It is. The Boondock sits on all of our brains like a little frog, like squatting there forever. Like,
and the thing is, like, it's such a mixed bag because we have a friend. I don't want to put him on blast, but like, I remember, I think Justin showed him the Boondocks, and his response was, "This makes me wildly uncomfortable." And this is coming from someone who I would think would be laughing about it. I really thought this would be his kind of humor, and he's like, "No, this makes me wildly uncomfortable." And it's like, really? Like, from you?
There's a certain kind of person who absolutely cannot handle watching the Boondocks. And let me tell you, if you're one of those people, that's fine.
Yeah, I get it, man.
I get it. It's good, and you should like. It's a thing that you should be able to enjoy. But if you cannot, there's powers beyond our ken at work.
And furthermore, don't judge other people for enjoying it. If you're not the kind of person who thinks it's funny, can take joy out of it, that's one thing. But don't look down on others because they find that shit hilarious, because it fucking is.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
An important part of the Boondocks I'd also like to make clear. it's not a racist show by any metric. It's a show that, by its very nature, requires you to understand what racism is. It is real, and especially bad people engage in it.
Yeah, it makes light of a very real and wrong thing. It deconstructs it in an enjoyable manner.
And especially being...
And in fact, I would go as far as to say you're more likely to be more hip and savvy into race relations by watching it.
You kind of, like, to enjoy, you got to know a little bit what's going on.
Yeah, you got to be savvy. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just ignorant.
Otherwise, you're like, what, that isn't a cool thing to say? Yeah. No, it wasn't, actually.
No, that's the joke.
You're not getting the joke, you are the joke.
Yeah. Well said, Rob. Well said.
Also, one of the clearest jokes is that, like, the only, like, truly rational person is this, like, 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, because a cool kid.
And it's just, like, he's just so much, like... I don't know, just comes off more intelligent than all the adults around him, just, like, instantly.
And he's, like, so, like, he's just kind of, like, he's upset about the state of things.
Yeah, he's just so jaded.
He's jaded, thank you.
His little brother is just, like, a fucking idiot.
The most fuckboy kid around, dude.
Yeah, like...
My favorite
and then Grandpa, R.I.P. John Witherspoon.
The best.
My favorite bit with Riley comes from the Christmas episode, where Santa... keeps getting shot by Riley because he better pay what he owed. That is one of my favorite bits.
He's still young enough to think Santa should be bringing him presents, but he's now old enough to be like, I need to exact revenge
for the presents I haven't received. Yeah. And then Jasmine, she's one of the characters.
The cutest little snow puff.
And she like blends Jesus imagery with Santa imagery because she's just such a fucking like...
Beware the false Santa!
Yeah, beware the false Santa! Oh, dude, it's so good. Boondocks, incredible. And with that, we're going to end tonight's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy the nature of this content, go and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube, and go and give me a follow on Blue Sky, and you can support us on our Patreon. And I'd like to give a special thanks to our Patreon subscribers, our aspiring Magus Champion 1209, and our fellow Scryers Maticate, GaryGoblino, MidniteGrimoire, The Greater Good Boy, Kinomajaro, Wanrical Barcis, and my mom.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Goodbye.